My name is Aref Zahed, Department of Computer Science at American University in Washington, D.C. And we are in the Don Meyer Building, Innovation Technology Hall, starting this interview.
Nice, thank you. So we get straight to the question.
Okay.
When do you think quantum computing will break public key encryption, and particularly the RSA?
So that's a billion-dollar question. And the honest answer is that actually no one has a definitive date. However, the cryptographic community operates on a principle of preparing for the worst. Some of the more alarming scenarios suggest that the sophisticated nation state could potentially develop a quantum computer capable of breaking standard 248-bit RSA key, sometimes between 2026 and 2031. More conservative and perhaps more likely public estimates place that milestone closer to mid-2030s. But the real threat is already here. It's a strategy we called harvest now, decrypt later. Adversaries are collecting massive amount of the data, and they are just simply waiting for the day they have a quantum computer powerful enough to break the encryption. So for data that needs to remain secure for years to come, like government secrets or personal health information, the danger is immediate.
Where did you hear 2026? I heard 2030. Some people push even more farther away, but 2026 is it's tomorrow, by the way, next year.
Yeah, because right now the quantum computer in the market, not in the market actually, on the research facilities, they already are able to decode and calculate very complicated mathematical algorithm. That means that they are in the edge and maybe in the corner of getting ready to, as a theoretical for a test, to break the code. But I'm not saying that this is out. I'm saying that in the lab, it may be possible at this point.
Yeah, in the lab. And actually, I think it was the news of just a couple of days ago that China announced they already broke RSA, but with a very small key, only 11-digit key.
Yeah.
But we don't know when it's going to be the next.
That's why more likely they think that it is about 2030, mid-2030, something like that.
Yeah, in 2030 anyway, still in 5 years from now.
Yes.
And upgrading all our security systems, all our cryptography, from the hardware to the software, is not going to take only 5 years, probably.
Yes, it takes a long time.
Since the RSA is at risk, and we even said that it can happen in 5 years, or maybe it could be also 10 years, but anyway, it's going to happen pretty soon. Do you think that we relied too much on RSA? Because now the RSA, or let's say just a factoring problem, because the factoring problem is behind a number of public key encryption schemes, have we been relying on it too much?
I believe that relying on RSA is a dangerous gamble. While it currently works against classical computers, basically assuming in a strong implementation, the quantum threat is too significant to ignore. So among the security professionals, it's clear that we must begin to a transition from the classical public key algorithm now, the mitigation to the new the migration The migration to a new cryptographic system is a complex and time-consuming process. It is not a switch that you can flip overnight. Waiting until a quantum computer openly breaks RSA would be far too late. So we cannot rely on it at this point.
Also because let's assume, hypothetically, tomorrow the RSA is broken. There are so many infrastructures, critical services that are based on RSA.
Absolutely.
It would be catastrophic.
It could be definitely, yes, it could be definitely catastrophic because most of the critical infrastructure actually using it. And so it is something that needs to be addressed immediately, and which they are working on it right now.
Concerning the post-quantum cryptography, that would be the quick fix, let's say, to this problem. Do you think these new algorithms, these new cryptographic systems are safe enough?
Our confidence in post-quantum encryption comes from rigorous, transparent, and global efforts led by the U.S. National Institute of Standard and Technology, NIST. Over last 6 years, NIST has held a competition inviting cryptographers to from all over the world to submit and attack new encryption algorithm. The one that have survived is intense security, are built on entirely the different mathematical problems that are believed to be resistant to the attack by both classical and quantum computers. The leading candidates, which NIST finalized, are as a standard in 2024, are primarily based on the things like lattice-based cryptography and hash-based cryptography. These mathematical problems don't have the same structure that makes RSA vulnerable to quantum algorithm like Shor's. While no one can prove an encryption is unbreakable forever, multi-year vetting process and the world's top mind give us a very high degree of confidence in their security.
The ethics of quantum supremacy, so beyond the technical spec, there is a fascinating ethical dimension to this. What are the ethics of quantum supremacy? I mean, the very idea of having such powerful machine.
The ethics are incredibly complex. The term of quantum supremacy itself, it's debatable, and but the power is presents. It's real. A state or corporation achieving a significant quantum advantage could lead to a massive surveillance. Imagine the ability of decrypting any nation's or citizen's secrets at will. It would fundamentally alter the balance of the power and privacy.
Whoever has the first breakthrough, of course, they're going to keep it secret or try to patent it, and that will make it, that will create this quantum divide, how you call it.
I don't think the patent is a matter here, because if a government wants to use it, they don't want to bring it to the market. They just may secretly copy or use it for controlling their own nation. So,
but if it's a company, if it's
yes.
IBM or Google.
Well, if it is a company, it's also because of the high stake that it's basically considered. I believe they, even a private company must have to hand it over to the government. It is not something that they said, oh, okay, now we have a quantum computer and whoever wants, come and get it.
True, but if they patent the computer or the algorithm and then they create a private network that's the only quantum secure network and they own it, only who can afford to pay access to that network can actually be safe.
It is possible, yes, but I'm still thinking that it must be more to it, because not only it is you're trying to be secure for yourself, but also you are trying to find a solution for decrypting others' information, other states. So it is a little bit, I think, political, which it's not my specialty to go to, but I'm not sure how they want to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really talking about politics, but the ethics, and I am going back to the same question, the ethics of quantum supremacy. If you want to add a little bit more about it, that since we were talking about this quantum divide, and then we move to the next question.
The ethics are incredibly complex. The term of quantum supremacy itself is debated, but the power it represents, it's real. A state or corporation achieving a significant quantum advantage could lead to a world of huge mass surveillance. Imagine the ability of the decrypting any nation's citizen secrets at will. It would fundamentally alter the balance of the power and erode the privacy. That's also the risk of the global inequality, because they are the expensive devices, expensive machinery here, that it's not be available for everyone. So it could create a quantum divide where the only powerful entities control this technology, potentially using it to their own advantage, whatever from economic gain or for developing more sophisticated and autonomous weapon systems. It's a conversation that needs to be happened in an open, focusing on establishing a global norms for responsible development and use.
With such high stakes, who should be in charge? Which institution should regulate or make the standards for this new era of cryptography?
In the reality, global leader in the standardization process has been NIST. Their open collaborative approach has been highly effective and has earned the trust of the international community. In the US, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, is taking the lead on implementation, guiding federal agencies and critical infrastructure on transition. In Europe, a similar coordinated effort is being managed by agencies like EU Agency for Cybersecurity. It's less about a single global regulation and more about this trusted, technically proficient national and regional bodies work together, setting standards and ensuring a consistent and interoperable approach access borders.
What kind of public policy is needed to navigate this transition safely?
Proactive and clear public policy is essential. We are already seeing good steps being taken. The U.S. government, for instance, has issued a mandate for federal agencies to inventory their cryptographic system and prepare for migration to the new NIST standards. This is a powerful drive for change. The key policy principles should include driving cryptographic agility, encouraging and mandating that the system are built to be crypto-agile, meaning that the encryption algorithms can be easily swapped off new vulnerability is discovered. The second is requiring inventory and risk. Assessment is you can protect what you can't protect what you don't know you have. Organization must be pushed to create a complete inventory of their cryptographic system to understand their exposure. Another one is fostering the public-private participation and partnership. Governments need to work closely with industry, academia to share intelligence, fund research, develop workforce needed for this transition. And another one I can consider promoting international cooperation. Since the internet is global, or security standards must be as well. Aligning on timelines and standards internationally is crucial to avoid creating weak links in the global security chain. Ultimately, policy needs to treat this transition with urge in deserves as a critical upgrade to our national and economic security infrastructure.
Nice. And also, I mean, we are talking about standards here, and this cooperation and organizations that come up with post-quantum cryptography standards, but then we need public policies for implementing these post-quantum cryptography, and you cannot have an enforcing law or regulations, but definitely all over the board, all over the map, organization, institutions, people needs to migrate to post-quantum cryptography, and that's really about public policy, international public policy. And it's a very difficult task because the world is big, the interests are many, and we are actually very fragmented. And so I don't even know if there is an organization that can do that kind of job.
Well, I don't think we can force people to do something in here. You can say this is the best and recommendation method, that if you follow our policy, you are more likely more secure. So in this case, for the government, yeah, you can force, but for the private sector, you can just suggest that this is the best solution, and we are basically what we are working on in government side is this method, and you can follow if you like. But inside the government chain, yes, of course, you can force a method to be followed, but not in the private sector.
Yeah. Or also the other way around. So the governments might say, well, we don't want to upgrade, to migrate to security, post-quantum security, because actually we want to have mass surveillance in place. Why the companies instead, they might migrate because otherwise they cannot communicate, they cannot do trade, they cannot just having the technology in place, because in the network systems you need to have the handshakes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't do the handshakes, there is no connection.
Correct.
So in the company, private and civilian sector, that might happen actually faster than in the government and public sector.
Well, again, it needs to be see about if we're considering from the national security side, I believe that the important part regarding to the post-quantum algorithm, which are resistant to quantum decryption, most likely started in the government, then comes to the private sector, because it is more important to start and secure the data in the government first. So, like consider many years ago when internet started for the first time, it was only available for government. Then they released it and everyone started using it, or GPS. So this is something that I think it's go to on the next pattern. First, everything will start to make sure that they are secure in the government side, and then they release it to the public and say, if you want to work with us, for example, you have to have the compatibility with our system, so you have to use this.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone is going to upgrade and migrate fast enough, and they will have the good reasons to do that. But nevertheless, just last question, fast enough, what would that mean in a world where everything or most of things are based on RSA? So what is your estimation? Not from when the public key encryption is going to be broken, but actually from the moment it's going to be broken to the moment that internet and everything else is safe again.
Well, it is extremely hard question to answer, and but I'm still believing that because it is a national security matter, I believe that they think first how to control it, and then they release it. So it's look like you have the antidote already, and then you say, okay, now if you got sick, this is the vaccine you use. All right. So I'm not sure if anything, something like this happened, that everything collapsed, because it's a lot of high stake here that they need to be considered, and it can means that it can cause a chaos. So that's why I'm thinking that it's most likely everything is going to be set first, and then the quantum computing introduce itself to the public.
Yeah, it always depends how fast. Also, because if you, in these interviews, what it emerged is also that whoever breaks public key encryption, the RSA, then it shouldn't keep it secret, because if you keep it secret, then people cannot know that things are not safe. And also, you don't know if there is someone else out there that figured the same thing or had the same breakthrough, and you cannot keep it for yourself for too long.
Yes, but we should also notice that breaking an encryption required a huge computational power that we don't have now. But quantum computer can provide it. Okay, so this is what I'm saying, that they are working most likely on a method to be quantum resistant, and then they introduce the quantum computer. So first we have it under control, then we have the quantum computer in the society. Because by any means, if you look at it, it doesn't make sense to have the quantum computer first on the market, and then you start thinking of how I can secure it.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so this is my idea. This is what I'm thinking.
No, but we all agree on that. I just think that probably the problem here is that we all know the problem is coming. There are some solutions. It's just that the solutions are not implemented fast enough. Because even if we estimate that the encryption will be broken in 10 years, but still 10 years is very soon, and to migrate and upgrade to post-quantum cryptography all over the world in all the layers of security systems is going to take much longer than 10 years. And so that's like, it's just that moment. And then eventually we get back to have safe networks and so on. But it's just a moment now that we are, the stakes are very high.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, NIST already started from last 6 years to work on it.
Work on it, but not implementing, there are very few. And we also don't know if they work well.
Yes. Yeah. So this is also something that I am not very familiar with.
Yeah,
So I never had an encounter with that encryption or even quantum computer power myself. So it is very hard to say.
Right.
But I'm very optimistic that they have the technology to control and have enough barrier for falling parts of the internet than they introduce, because it is something that can relate it to the national security. And always all the governments, not US, any governments want to have a safe national security. So this is something that they most likely collaborating with together closely, European and American, to have a safe way. And then they introduce the quantum computing. At this point, even I don't know if we have a fully functional quantum computing in the government or not. But private companies working on it, and it is possible that we have it in next 5 to 6 years. Meanwhile, maybe on that time, they already have a good solution to prevent the falling of the internet. This is something that time will say.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.